Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Monday. It's November 22nd. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And I thought I'd start out by showing you the daily chart, and obviously this is our envelopes bands on here for my envelope strategy. I always get that question, what is this? So I like to throw that out there sometimes. But you can see we finally got a close outside on this real tight two-tiered channel working up here. So we do have a close outside. May get a correction and an attempt at a new high. We just have to see. My original target is way up here, so we're a little above 4,800. And we got up to, we got halfway there today. Maybe, what's the high of this bar? 47.40. So we didn't quite get to 47.50. We're pushing on towards 4,800. So whether or not we'll make it, we'll just have to see. But that's a look at the daily chart, and this is our target up here. So let's go over to our 2,000 tick chart and go through our trade. Okay, here's a look at our 2,000 tick chart. Really slow after 10 o'clock. I saw one trade that maybe I liked here. I mean, it's really sad when you get this kind of movement, but you just don't get a setup that you really want to risk taking. The morning now was, right out of the gate, we had a bunch of really nice trades. So hopefully you got your trading done early. It looks like that's what most people did. And then I don't know what happened this afternoon, what these sell-offs were. We're getting to that point where as this week continues, the market will probably slow down some. People are taking vacation. Maybe some of the commercial banks and so forth, and or stop buying, and maybe that's why we got this sell. Maybe some of them are closing out their, wrapping up some of their. Maybe they had some big trades that they were wrapping up at the end of the month or before we go into the holiday. Basically, is what I'm trying to say there. So that could be it. It doesn't really matter. You can see looks like we tried to make a second leg down. We actually probably made a little bigger leg on this second one than we did this first one. I would measure it like so here, and then leg 2 right here. You can see we actually surpassed that. So pretty strong sell-off, and then we tried to correct out of there, and then it just sold off again. So whether or not we're looking at a reversal here and maybe a correction coming, another correction. We've been way overbought based on the way our daily chart looks. So it's probably time for a little bit of correction. We'll just have to see. But let's go through the trades and wrap it up. This is probably going to do it for the week. I'm going to come in the morning. I'm going to trade, and I'll put up a mid-morning chart on the site. But I doubt I'll do a YouTube lesson tomorrow. Maybe. It just depends on how things are going. The weather's supposed to be nice here, and I'm pretty much looking forward to taking most of this week off. So I may start early tomorrow. So definitely tomorrow, even if I do a chart lesson tomorrow, it'll be the last one this week. I'll be off the rest of the week. So no chart lessons probably after today, but we'll see how tomorrow goes. Just make sure you're subscribed and you got your notifications on. Then you know if you get a chart lesson or not. And you know what, if you don't get that notification, you know I didn't post one. So let me trim this out a little far so we can see the whole day. You can see that whole day. We opened and we traded up in the overnight a little and just continued higher in the regular open. Then suddenly we just couldn't go any higher up here, and boom, the bottom falls out. We corrected back a little bit, maybe 75% of that, and then boom, the bottom fell out again. This time even stronger than the first one. Most of this movement was way after 2:30. So I don't recommend trying to trade that. But it's rare when you get that kind of movement after 2:30. Somebody was selling something today. I don't know who or what, but there was definitely some selling going on there. Either that or the buying's just dried up. Either way, it's a lot of selling and not a lot of buying. So let's go through the trades. This is right at 7 o'clock this morning. Notice that we had this trend working up. We had a break and a new high. Um, this particular move to a new high, it's two legs up is what it is. This this looks like an overshoot to me. Most of your touches are up through there, and then we moved up. I mean that's not a convincing close outside by any means. So, but it looks like an overshoot. Either way, it doesn't matter. It looks like we continue higher, but it looked like we were going to go lower for a minute. Notice the big move down, shoots through the EMA, pulls back, fails, pulls back a second time. That's a failed second entry long, and this broke higher first and turned down. You could go short on the engulfing bar, but generally you're better off to wait for this one to close and just put your sell stop one tick below that. Quick, easy move. You might could have got a couple extra points out of a runner, maybe. I don't know if you'd have got a runner on that one or not. I think it might have come back and stopped you out. But then we turn up and you get a reversal back in the other direction. Nice, strong signal ball. I don't know if you could have got in this one because it gaps open. You might have had to use a limit order. I know you could have got in it, but I don't think you want to ride this out. You would have survived it, but it'd been by the skin of your teeth, and those are never any fun. So I don't know if you'd have got in that one, but then you get a new swing high here. So first entry, and you move on down second entry right here when it broke above this bar right here. That's a second entry long. That's a fairly bullish bar, and you got a triple test across there. I still made this one green. It's right at the borderline of being blue or green, but I like this trade. If it breaks higher, we're probably going higher. But if not, wait on the higher low, which comes right here. And that was an engulfing, and when it closed, I didn't really like the bar. So I think you're better off to wait and see if you get a failure, which you get right here. So I like going long one tick above that. You come back, and that's just a first entry. It's getting a little dangerous right in here to be entering on a first entry. We've already got a break of this one and a new high, but we're moving again. And there's actually a little short-term trend working up through here. And that's just a first entry, so I don't like entering that one. Of course, it's a close outside as well. And then you move to a new high. Then you get your two-legged correction. And so right there, you got a second entry long, and then you just get a repeat of this other stuff down here. You get a higher low right here, and then a failed second entry short. I didn't mark the failure because it's right into the highs. Or actually, I did mark it, but I made it green because it's right into the highs, so it's a little bit aggressive, but it's one you might take all the same because it's a repeat pattern 3 times in a row here, and it just takes off like a rocket straight up. And then we continue to go higher, but I don't see any entries here. We're getting way away from the EMA. It's starting to get dangerous to enter long anymore. And if you just wait a few minutes later, you get that repeat pattern again. Notice the new swing low, first entry, second entry, it fails. Just go long. It's worked every single time today. Another quick, easy scalp. And then we start running into this resistance up here. And notice you shoot back through the EMA. You get a first entry, and then you drop real low, and you get a second entry. I marked this one green because it is a failed breakout, and generally that's you don't want to go short on those, but this is going to probably trap a lot of longs, and some shorts are going to have to exit. It wasn't quite back to the EMA either, but it does confirm that trend line, so you may take that trade. It would have been a nice trade, but you don't get another chance to enter this one. We just start working sideways, and there's no real chance to enter this one either. So there is an entry here that would have worked. And you might have looked at that as a triple test, but it's just so congested and there's not much room back to these lows. I just didn't think it was a good idea to mark it. The lower high is still inside the range, kind of a neutral bar. And then we break out, pull back, and it looks like we're going to get a setup here, and we don't. You get a real neutral bar. That's congestion. There's not a lot of room here. That thing, but the bottom just drops out. There is a first entry, second entry there, but again, look at those. It's too big a chance that breaks lower and bounces on you. And you just don't get a chance to enter this. I mean, it's frustrating as heck to watch that go. So if you saw it but you couldn't find an entry, don't let it get to you, because all it'll do is talk you into entering one of these next moves. It looks like it's going lower, and you just get burned. So it happens. You get these moves like this sometimes, and you don't get a chance to enter them. I didn't see anything here worth entering on any of these. We're in a range here. You don't want to go long into the resistance, and you don't really get any short setups. And so it's just not a very good, not much here to trade. And then you finally get a failed breakout, but look at the size of that bar, and it would have just burned you. And you got to be real careful. You'll see these a lot, and it'll look like prices are about to strongly reverse, and then it just ends up going the other way. It's like all the buyers just kind of ran out of luck there, and then somebody started selling. If this would have been a decent bar that far away from the EMA, and you might have considered trading that on the engulfing bar, because you basically get a close outside, a move to a new high, or you actually open outside. You technically close outside, but it's way down here. So there's what looks to be a close outside here, but it's not very convincing. So I just don't think you want to risk that on an engulfing bar. But it is a failed breakout, and it does fail like you would expect. But if you wait a little bit, you get like a little triple test here with a nice bearish bar with plenty of room back to the EMA. That's the better trade. And you think it's probably going to go lower, and it just chops around. Next thing you know, we're going higher. And there's a breakout pullback long here, but it's too risky out of this congestion, and it takes off. And you just don't get a chance to enter this thing. You may have looked at this as a failure. Notice the new low, first entry, and then you run up and there's a second entry off. But it's, the measured move is right here, so it looks like we've about played out, but it continues to push higher. And I just don't think you want to enter that failure way up here in congestion with no room to the highs. Yeah, it works, but you don't know that till after the fact, and it's just not worth risking. And then, boom, the bottom falls out, and we get this. And again, you just don't get a chance to enter that. Now, there is a first entry long right there that fails, and then a second entry right here, which would have most likely been off a key entry point, but it hasn't really been confirmed yet. So that makes it risky still. So you just don't get a chance to enter this thing. I mean, this does confirm the trend line here on this third touch. So first entry, second entry, and it does. You get 3 touches of the trend line. So of course that's after 2:30 anyway, so that makes it even more dangerous. But I just don't think it's anything you want to enter. So there's just not much there in the afternoon. It's great trading morning. I mean, there were just several really clear and precise, no question kind of entries, and then the rest of the day was just throwing darts at the board. So again, like I said, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way they are. It is sometimes, especially going into the holidays. So this is, it's not crazy to, you get some unexpected moves. The volume starts to thin a little bit. It's easier to move and manipulate the market, things like that. So anyway, I'm not going to beat around the bush with this one anymore. Not much else to talk about other than it was a nice morning, and again, nice movement, but just not a lot of setup. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. If I don't see you tomorrow, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving break, and I will see you the following Monday, which that will be, look at my calendar, well, be a week from, be the following Monday after the holiday weekend. So anyway, I don't know what that date is, and I'm not going to try to look it up, but again, we'll see about tomorrow. I'm just not sure, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.